The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has turned to the central bank to borrow 10 billion cedis to help address COVID-19 related challenges to the country's economy. Today, the minister laid a document in Parliament requesting an approval. As we speak, the document has been referred to the Finance Committee of Parliament for considerations. But there are concerns as to whether running to the central bank is the best option, and also the country's debt stock rising as a result of excessive borrowing. Joining me via phone lines is economist Professor Peter Quartey. Prof, good evening and thanks so much for your time. First of all, our fiscal gap is 21.42 billion Ghana cedis, consisting of 15.85 billion cedis, and revenue shortfall also is around 5.57 billion cedis. Also, when you go down, you realize that COVID-19 expenditure is also, that's 5.15 billion Ghana cedis and 7 billion Ghana cedis. In order to fill this gap, Prof, we have borrowed 1 billion from the IMF and then also $350 million from the World Bank. And then we also borrowed 219 million from the Stabilization Fund. That leaves an outstanding amount of 17.9 billion Ghana cedis. So the question we are asking is, now that we are going to the central bank to borrow an extra 10 billion Ghana cedis, leaving 7.9 billion cedis, is that the best option? And secondly, where else can we raise this outstanding amount from? And I'm asking, first of all, whether running to the central bank is the best option, and then where else can we get the outstanding debt amount from?
Yeah, I certainly think so. We are not in normal times, and you realize there is a fiscal gap that has to be filled. If you recall, the U.S. government is borrowing about $3 trillion to fill its fiscal gap. Similarly, in Ghana, government has a fiscal gap which it has to fill. Now, the option will be either to borrow locally or to borrow from an international, often the capital markets or from the multilateral institutions. Already, we've benefited from IMF and the World Bank, so obviously that we may have to run to the capital market, but that will come with higher interest rates. So if the central bank has some surplus money to give to government, I think it's in the right direction. My concern will be how efficient or effective we use this money.
Hello, Prof.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so for me, I'm very much concerned about how effective or efficient we use this money.
Right, so when you say effective, what do you think is the right
of government expenditure as far as this money is concerned? Otherwise, in my view, it is a good option to pursue.
Right. When you say effective way of using the money, where do you think we can best channel this amount to?
Well, at the moment, you realize health is of great concern. So the government can invest this money in the health sector. If hospitals need PPEs, they need other things to cope with the COVID-19 pandemic, certainly that is one area that we ought to invest in. Then also we need to revive the economy, the productive sectors of the economy. Agriculture is key. We have continued to provide fertilizer subsidy and other things. But this time round, I think we need to identify some players, some big players within the agribusiness value chain and support them so that we don't run into deep recession. We need to revive the real sector of the economy.
Right, well said, but as at the end of 2019, our debt stock was 218 billion Ghana cedis. Yes, we know we are not in normal times, but our debt stock is also rising. Should we be worried?
The debt stock is of concern to everybody. The World Bank, the IMF, I'm sure the government itself is also concerned about the rising debt stock. But as a developing country, we have challenging or developmental needs which have to be met, especially in these times where revenue from oil, revenue from other sources are dwindling. So it's of concern, but I will be much more concerned if this money is not used judiciously. If we borrow to invest, certainly we'll reap the benefits of the investment. But if we borrow to consume, that is where we have a challenge, and I'll be very concerned if these funds are not invested or used judiciously, but rather consumed in other kinds of things that we normally do. But if they are invested, like I mentioned, agriculture, into even research into developing the vaccine and other things, why not? For me, I support that.
Right. So we are running to the central bank to get an extra 10 billion Ghana cedis, leaving us an excess of 7.9 billion cedis. Where do you think we can raise this money from?
The extra could come from, again, if the multilateral institutions are willing to lend to us, it will be a second best option. The first best option would be for us to raise revenue domestically. If we can find alternative means of raising money or raising funds or revenue, that would be good. Some countries have even increased their VAT. Israel and other countries have even increased their VAT in the midst of the COVID pandemic because they need to finance certain critical expenditures. Perhaps we need to have a debate on this, whether government would like to increase VAT marginally to rake in some revenue so it could finance critical expenditures. We need to survive. We need to live. So if health is of great concern to us, we need to find money to finance certain critical health expenditures.
Quickly before you go, Prof, Nigerian Central Bank has reduced its lending rate to 12.5%. What do you make of that, and should we be going towards that direction?
Yes, certainly. Any reduction in the policy rate or the lending rate is good to the private sector. And this is the time we need to revive the private sector. We've equally seen the central bank urge or directed commercial banks to reduce their lending rate by 2 percentage points. So as we speak, this is being enforced. Commercial banks have reduced their rate. Let's also bear in mind that these commercial banks borrow money or they take deposits from you and I, and they on-lend. So we cannot push them too hard, because if we do, their profitability can be affected, their cost of operations can be affected, and they won't be able to pay interest on our deposits. So we need to strike a good balance, in my view. But certainly, any reduction in the lending rate is certainly good to propel the private sector in this era of low growth rate, low revenue.
Thank you very much, Professor Peter Quartey. He is an economist.
My pleasure.
That's all for business for now. I'm back at 8 p.m. with more business news.